It's back. It looks like the TPP might be resurrected by Donald Trump. Here we go again. According to the Washington Post, President Trump has now ordered top administration officials on Thursday to look at rejoining the Trans-Pacific Partnership. That's, of course, the gigantic deal that would have given corporate control over a lot of our trade. It was actually going to be a terrible deal for American workers. So, look, Bernie Sanders, later on Hillary Clinton, and a lot of Democrats and also union members were massively against this deal. It's going to erode American jobs. Basically, what we're going to see is we're going to see all these American jobs now going into these low-wage countries and these corporations outsourcing this labor. Now, President Trump, I think, did the right thing in originally killing TPP. And I actually gave him credit for it. I said, great. This is great. Look, this trade deal, the way that it's set up, and the way that, I guess, I don't know if the arbitration is the correct word for it, these disputes between corporations and nation states that could be decided by corporate lawyers. I mean, that was a really shady proposition, and definitely wouldn't work out for taxpayers, also wouldn't work out for American workers, but it'd be great for corporations. So that's why I opposed the deal, and Donald Trump claimed that he was on the side of the American worker when he said, okay, let's kill TPP, let's pull out of it. Well, unfortunately, like a lot of things that he promised, a complete 360. Trump apparently gave new orders to U.S. Trade Representative Robert E. Lighthizer and National Economic Council Director Larry Kudlow during a White House meeting with lawmakers and governors, according to several GOP senators in attendance. Now, one of them was Senator John Thune. Now, look, Kudlow, of course, new economic advisor, taking over for Gary Cohn, and he is a free trader. He thinks unfettered free trade is awesome. So naturally, he loves TPP. He loves trade deals. He does not like the tariffs against China, all that stuff. And look, he's been likely whispering in Donald Trump's ear about this, right? So Trump, according to John Thune, then told Lighthizer and Kudlow to take a look at getting us back into that agreement on our terms, of course. Thune said, quote, he was quite bullish about that. What would those terms be? I don't know. And how would they impact American jobs? We don't know. We don't have any details, right? But the problem that I have with free trade is that, look, what it leads to is, unfortunately, unfettered free trade leads to outsourcing, and it leads to a race to the bottom when it comes to wages and benefits. Again, there's a reason that all these corporations go to Vietnam and China. It's because they have incredibly low wages and no worker protections. And of course, corporations then can make the argument for, jobs that are still in the United States. Hey, man, look, if you don't allow us to lower your wages and give you less benefits or no benefits, then we're just going to have to go somewhere else because we can't afford it. But in reality, they can't afford it. But what they're doing, of course, is trying to pad the bottom lines of their executives, their CEOs, and their shareholders because, look, corporations have a fiduciary responsibility to maximize profit. And if they are in a system where it is more profitable to go to a low-wage country with no regulations that allow you to pollute everywhere and treat workers like crap, then that's where they're going to go. That's where they're going to go. Corporations, I'm sorry, I hate when they use the term American corporations because there's nothing American about them. They're multinational corporations, and they absolutely have no loyalty. They're not patriotic human beings. They're not human beings at all. They're legal fictions. They're machines. They don't actually exist. They're not people. They have no speech rights. They have no emotions. They have no feelings. They're only there to make profit. So why would we allow them then, and why would we write rules that would allow them to do things that hurt people? And look, talk about the American worker, right? But also those people in Vietnam, They're being exploited for low wages. We should also work to boost them up as well. Their wages. Make sure that they have adequate worker protections. Again, this is a system of exploitation. And unfortunately, again, free trade leads to that race to the bottom. Now, I don't know how he would address that, saying he wants to do it on his terms that are more favorable to the United States and the United States worker. Okay, how would he do that? We don't know. And look, I'm worried because Donald Trump, he's not a smart person, okay? He's not smart, and he doesn't really care about regular working people. And by the way, let's not discount the fact that this could be an absolute distraction from all the other crazy shit going on in the news right now that is not very pleasant for President Trump right now. In fact, let me go to this. His comments were so unexpected that White House officials, lawmakers, business groups, and others weren't sure whether Trump had made a calculated overture or if it was another whimsical idea that he could soon cool on. I'm betting on whimsical if those are the choices, right? Now, I think it's hilarious that the press still believes that he makes calculated moves. No. There's nothing calculated about President Trump. He's an imbecile. And he basically reacts on whatever he sees and hears immediately without knowing the facts. He listens to whoever strokes his ego. And by the way, this is usually Fox News or people on Fox News. And again, look who he surrounds himself with. These are all Bush-era, free market, neoliberalism, or neoliberal, people that are pushing these policies. Now, let me tell you why I think that he actually got out of the TPP. Again, it was really popular, for one. Getting out of the TPP, staying out of the TPP, very popular. Again, Bernie Sanders, guy that brought this up, and was like, hey, maybe we shouldn't do that because it's a danger to American workers. That proved to be very popular, more popular than the TPP was under President Obama. And look, a lot of people caught on and was like, hey, yeah, you're right. This is NAFTA all over again. We got screwed. We got shafted when it came to NAFTA. So here comes Donald Trump saying, well, that's popular. That plays well. Okay, I'm against TPP. Another reason that he was probably against TPP, because it was Obama. It was Obama's trade deal. Obama trade. Anything President Obama had done, good or bad, he's got to be against it. 100%. Because his base eats it up. Oh, if I'm against Obama 100%, well then, my base, they're going to love it. And plus, I don't like Obama. And he never has. So there's that. There's what I think. Now, a senior administration official, going back to the Washington Post here, speaking on the condition of anonymity to describe the White House's internal approach, said Trump has not set any goals or deadlines for Kudlow and Lighthizer for when a new agreement should be reached. Instead, they say the White House is approaching potential new talks as a way to signal that Trump is receptive to free market proposals if he feels they can be reached in a way that advances U.S. interests. Now, what kind of interests actually appeal to President Trump? His own financial interests. And to go back to that, him and his family, right? In the recent tariffs, guess who was exempted? Guess who there was a carve-out and a deal for? Ivanka Trump and her business. You don't think that he's going to do something that's going to massively benefit the Trump empire? Of course he is, and you don't know Donald Trump at all. Look, I've got another quote here. He wrote, "Would only join TPP if the deal were substantially better than the deal offered by President Obama." Again, if it's Obama did it, well, obviously he's stupid, and his deal was terrible for us, but don't worry, I can get a better deal. Quote, "We already have bilateral deals with 6 of the 11 nations in TPP, and are working to make a deal with the biggest of those nations, Japan, who has hit us hard on trade for years." Look, President Trump, before he was president, he was always talking about, the Japanese, they're out trading us. Okay, man. But look, do you think he even understands anything about trade, actual trade? No, he doesn't. Look, he doesn't understand that, and I'll give you an example here. When he was meeting with Angela Merkel, Chancellor of Germany, look, man, he didn't understand that he couldn't just enter into bilateral trade agreements with Germany. Germany is part of the European Union, and the European Union stipulates that you can't just trade with a specific member nation. You have to trade with all of them. Every member nation. It's 27 different countries that are part of the European Union. And he's like, yeah, but I want a trade deal with Germany. Germany, can it be bilateral? And at some point she was just like, yeah, okay, yeah, it's bad. Great. Yes, you can trade with us, except that you have to trade with the EU. She just nodded her head because she's like, well, I'm not going to go and correct him because, diplomatic relations and all. But there was look, this was an exchange that Trump's aides said was humiliating. So do you think this person understands the nuances of trade? I don't think he does. He's not a very stable genius. He does not have a good brain. Okay. But like, here's the thing. On trade, we know what we want. We want fair trade, not free trade. We want trade that is mutually beneficial for everybody, for American workers, and people in other countries as well. Again, fair trade, not free trade. We want a system where jobs don't flow to these low-wage, low-regulation countries and continue the global race to the bottom, which we have seen. And unfortunately, that seems to have happened under NAFTA. Now, I'm not saying that Trump's trade wars are the answer either. There's like a mix of some protectionism, of course, that doesn't just, of course, benefit Trump's businesses or any sort of a deal benefiting Trump's business. But there needs to be measured, careful policy so that you don't end up wrecking the economy. And unfortunately, what we're getting with Trump is no nuance, just ham-handed flailing. But that's, of course, how Donald Trump handles everything. And now, apparently, as I said before, it is very likely that we will see some version of the TPP that has returned, but, of course, with special carve-outs and benefits to Trump and his family. Hey, everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.